My son Nick, when he was in preschool, would dress himself. One morning he came down the stairs and I saw that his shirt was on backwards. Being his mother, I kind of wrestled with, should I tell him? Should I not tell him? I decided to go ahead and tell him. I said, Nick, your shirt's on backwards. He said, Mom, it's backwards day. Now, the school did not declare it backwards day, but Nick had. For the next month and a half, every day was backwards day. This is one of the first times that I got a glimpse into my son and how he was different and how he was an individual and how he was expressing his individuality. I started to learn more about his differences, and I loved every one of them. The more I learned, the more I saw inside him that spirit, the divinity, Christ inside him. And I loved and cherished that. I still do to this day. He's always been different, and he still is. He has his own path, and it's just beautiful. It's one of the most things I love about him. Embracing the differences. When you do this, it brings you to a deeper understanding, not only of the person, but of yourself. Differences can build a wall. And as they build that wall, they separate us, keeping us out, away from each other. There's no relationships going on. There's no getting to know you or anything about you. But when you start breaking down that wall and you learn and embrace those differences, it can build a bridge towards harmony, love, peace. As you build those bridges, you build relationships. Relationships can build communities. And communities built in love and peace and harmony do wonderful things. That energy spreads. A deeper understanding. As you understand that person, that situation, that idea, you start to see yourself. You start to know and understand and look at your differences and how you're beautiful and love the Christ in you. Emily Cady in Lessons in Truth has this to say about differences, and it's on page 159. I want to stimulate you to lose sight of all differences, all side issues and lesser things, and seek but for one thing. That is the consciousness of the presence of an indwelling God in you and life. And believe me, just as there is less separation between the spokes of a wheel the nearer they get to the hub, so you will find that the nearer you both come to the perfect center, the Father. the less difference there will be between you and your brother. The less difference there will be between you and your brother. She's talking about gaining that deeper understanding. She's talking about coming to the center, looking and understanding that we are all one. We are all of the same consciousness. Seeing that in one another and honoring that. I'm not here to say that differences should be taken away or made the same or not honored. Differences should be honored. They should see for what they truly are, which is the expression of Christ through that person. Differences need to be honored. And as you honor and embrace that difference, you see how similar we are. You see how similar we are. Embrace the differences. By learning and searching within, we can embrace those differences. I'm in a class right now called World Religions. And in that class, they give us the syllabus at the beginning. I don't usually look ahead. I usually just stay the lesson that we're on. And one of the first lessons was to take a faith that you are allergic to, that you have an allergic reaction to, and write about it. Don't be judgmental. Don't be, try to do anything that is outside. Don't go outside to say, well, I understand why. Just write it down. Just write down the allergic reaction that you have to this faith. One night in class, she then told us later, this was later in the term, that we would have to look at that allergic reaction to that faith by going to a service or speaking to someone within that faith and to learn more about that faith. We did that, and it was interesting. There's a classmate of mine who talked about this in class, how she had an allergic reaction to Islam. And when she was talking about it at first, you could see the anxiety, the fear. And as she was explaining how she had to go to the mosque and she learned, she talked to women, she talked to men, she learned about their rituals, about their habits, their praying. You can see in her face and her body language how she relaxed, how that fear was gone, that allergic reaction was gone. And all she did was learn about it. And she went within and she felt the Christ in them, and she saw the Christ in them. Again, I'm not saying to make those differences go away or make them any less. Just to note, Islam, they pray 5 times a day. They do it in the direction of Mecca. They pray. I know in Unity, praying is one of our foundations. Silent Unity is all about prayer. As they are different, they are the same. Another faith that we learned about was Wicca. Now, when I said that term, did this come to mind? If so, you would be right. Witch. The term for Wicca used to be witchcraft, the craft of the wise. It's a nature-based faith, and they are healers, natural healers. They heal by making oils, lotions, teas, herbal remedies for whatever ails you, headaches, backaches. Does that sound anything like what maybe some of us do in Unity, especially with essential oils? They also believe in not necessarily one God, but a creative force, and God and goddesses as the creative force. They believe in religious freedom, that there are many paths, not just one, but many, and you choose the path that is right for you. Sounds an awfully lot like coexist to me. Coexist. They also have the law of threefold. What you. So if you put out abundance, love, joy, abundance,
love, and joy will come back threefold to you. If you put out sadness, despair, anxiety, that will come back to you also threefold.
They don't believe in the devil. Wicca predates Christianity. And the concept of Satan or the devil is a Christian concept. So they don't believe in the devil. I know here in Unity, we don't believe in the devil either. The devil or evil is just error thinking. We had a guest speaker. Her name was Deborah Gregory. And one of the things that I will always remember that she said is that magic, they use magic. Magic is prayer with intention. Magic with intention. Sounds a lot like Unity.
Our affirmations. Prayer with intention.
The witches, this is how the witch icon came to be. They were called ale, and part what they did as alewives is they made beer.
They would make beer in ale houses with their cauldrons, and they would stir the beer over a hot fire for many hours out in public.
They also had cats. The cats were around because they needed to have, they had to eat the mice who ate the hops and the grain and everything else, the yeast that went into the beer. Another interesting fact is when the beer was ready, they would place a broom over the alehouse door, and that symbolized that the beer was ready. So you could come in and buy beer. It was a very lucrative business, and many of these women went out to public events crowds, wherever a crowd or public was happening, they went out there to sell their beer. And what they did is they wore a pointy hat so that way people could see them. And they would know that, oh, hey, there's an alewife. Let's go buy some beer from her. As I said, this was a lucrative business. And not all these women were married. Some were single, some were widowed, and it helped them make a living. The church started seeing this, was really questioning all of this. One reason why they saw these women making this concoction, this potion, have you, which men would drink and temporarily lose their minds, lose control, do things they wouldn't normally do. And unfortunately, the church took a look at everything and decided that these alewives were doing evil. And thus the icon of the witch became into history. As I give you this lesson, as you learn about Wicca and witches, turn within. Just turn within for a moment and feel what feels similar. What differences can you honor? What can you learn? Not only about Wicca or witches, but by yourself. Do you have some fear there? Is there something that needs to be healed? When you search within and you go to that place where that Christ consciousness is, you can feel that connection with the oneness, with the consciousness. We are all one. I don't care what your faith is. I don't care what you look like. I don't care what you wear. I don't care what you buy. I don't care what you have or not have. We are all one. Embracing differences leads you to a deeper understanding. And through that deeper understanding, you can do that by learning and by going within. What I'd like you to take away from this, or have your own experiment and try, take somebody that has a difference that you know of. Maybe something that you're not so hot about. Could be an idea, could be a thought, could be anything. Just something that, again, that maybe you have allergic reaction to. Embrace that. Get a deeper understanding. See what that feels like. Learn about that difference. Learn about it. And go within. And see what you feel. Feel what you feel. Learn what you need to learn about yourself. Take that wall and build a bridge. If you see someone with their shirt on backwards, my son Nick doesn't do it anymore. Unfortunately, he's in college now, so it'd be kind of neat if he did. But if you see someone with their shirt on backwards, say to them, Happy Backwards Day. I love you. I honor you. I bless you. I see the Christ inside you and I honor you. Namaste.